Welcome back, English learners. I'm Eva. Thanks for joining our cool and unique channel. Dear followers, with us, you will go beyond learning a language by discovering interesting and diverse life topics, which will help you improve your English faster. So, be patient and spend more time listening, which is the key to mastering any language. So, without further ado, let's start part 1 of the podcast with our friend Lewis. I am very excited about today's topic. Hi, Lewis. What is the topic of the day?
Thank you, Eva. Dear followers, welcome to your exclusive channel for English language acquisition. With consistent effort and commitment, you can unlock your full potential. Today's topic title is Achieving English Fluency, Benefits and Strategies. Have you ever dreamed of traveling the world, advancing your career, or connecting with people from different cultures? English fluency is the golden ticket to achieving all these goals and more. As the most widely spoken language globally, English serves as a bridge for communication, opportunities, and personal growth. In this essay, we will explore why learning English matters, how you can achieve fluency, and the life-changing benefits it brings. Section A. Why English is the world's language. English is everywhere. From business meetings to travel adventures, this language plays a pivotal role in breaking down barriers. First and foremost, English is a universal language of communication. When you speak English, you can connect with people from diverse backgrounds, whether at work, while traveling, or online. Imagine meeting someone from halfway across the world and understanding each other because of the shared language. English also opens doors to endless opportunities. Many top career positions require English proficiency, as companies value employees who can collaborate on an international scale. It's not just about jobs. Many educational programs abroad list English fluency as a prerequisite. Whether you dream of studying in London, New York, or Sydney, English can make it possible. Beyond practicality, learning English promotes personal growth. Fluency boosts confidence, broadens your perspective, and introduces you to new experiences. Every new word or phrase learned is like stepping into a larger world, filled with opportunities for self-discovery and achievement. Section B. Practical steps to English fluency. Becoming fluent in English doesn't happen overnight, but with dedication and smart strategies, anyone can achieve it. Here's how. 1. Start with the basics. Begin with simple vocabulary and phrases used in everyday conversations. Greetings like hello, good morning, and thank you are excellent starting points. Focus on phrases that help in real-life situations, such as ordering food or asking for directions. By mastering the basics, you build a strong foundation for more complex learning. 2. Practice every day. Consistency is your best friend when learning a language. Set aside time daily to practice speaking, listening, or reading in English. Don't worry if there's no one to talk to. Practice out loud on your own. For example, try saying sentences like, I am learning English, or I am reading a book right now. This not only builds vocabulary, but also helps train your brain to think in English. 3. Use modern tools and resources. In today's digital world, learning English is easier than ever. Enroll in language classes, join online communities, or download language learning apps. Platforms like Duolingo, YouTube, or Meetup allow you to connect with native speakers or other learners. Remember, using these tools consistently accelerates your progress. 4. Be patient and persistent. Fluency takes time, and it's easy to feel discouraged when progress seems slow. However, small daily improvements add up over time. Celebrate every milestone, whether it's learning 10 new words or successfully holding a short conversation. Patience and persistence are your greatest allies on this journey. Section C. The life-changing benefits of English fluency. The rewards of speaking English fluently extend far beyond words. One of the most exciting benefits is how it enhances your travel experiences. From navigating airports to ordering food at restaurants, English helps you communicate smoothly in almost any country. It's often the common language in hotels, tourist destinations, and even local tours. English also fosters global connections. Whether you're making friends online, networking at work, or forming international partnerships, fluency allows you to connect with people from diverse cultures. These relationships can lead to lifelong friendships or even professional collaborations. Another incredible benefit is the boost in self-confidence. Accomplishing fluency in a global language feels empowering. You'll find yourself speaking up more in meetings, engaging in conversations with ease, and feeling more assured in unfamiliar settings. Finally, fluency in English can transform your career. As one of the most sought-after skills in today's job market, English proficiency opens doors to high-paying roles and international opportunities. Employers value employees who can communicate with clients or teams worldwide, making fluency a significant advantage in the workplace. Section D. Conclusion. Speaking English fluently is more than just a skill. It's a gateway to a world of opportunities, connections, and personal growth. By starting with the basics, practicing consistently, and using available resources, anyone can master this global language. The benefits: enhanced travel experiences, career advancement, new friendships, and greater self-confidence are well worth the effort. So why wait? Start your journey to English fluency today and watch how it transforms your life, one word at a time. That was the topic of the day. Eva, thank you for listening.
Thank you, and good job, Lewis. Very interesting topic and an excellent explanation. Now, dear followers, let's move on to the second and final part of this podcast. Let's dive deeper into today's topic with an amazing duo podcast with Sarah and David. Let's get started without further ado.
All right, so today we're diving into something I find super interesting, the whole impact of speaking English fluently. And we're not just talking about like basic, hello, how are you?
Right.
We're going deeper. We're going to look at how fluency can open up all these crazy opportunities, especially when you think about travel, growing as a person, and even your career. Actually, one thing that really stood out to me from the research was how often English is used as the common language, even for like local tours in other countries. It really hit me. English is everywhere.
Yeah, it's a perfect example of how English has become this lingua franca.
Yeah.
Basically, it's like this universal language that connects people from different cultures. And the source we're looking at today really dives into how this can help you connect with people from literally all over the world. I mean,
Right.
Picture yourself in a bustling market in Thailand, or maybe you're at a conference in Europe. It's amazing how one language can just break down so many barriers. Yeah.
Mind-blowing, right? And it's not just theoretical. Like, I've seen it firsthand. I remember this one time I was traveling through this tiny village in the Czech Republic, totally lost. And my Czech was, well, non-existent.
Oh.
But luckily, I stumbled upon this little bakery, and the owner spoke a bit of English. And even though we had like a super limited vocabulary, we managed to have this whole conversation about the history of the village and local traditions.
Yeah.
It would have even been possible without that shared language.
That's such a great example, and it perfectly illustrates how English opens doors, just like the source says. Think about applying for a job at a global company or working on a research project with people from different countries. English becomes essential in those situations. The source even pointed out how more and more universities around the world are making English proficiency a requirement for their programs. So, whether you're hoping for a promotion or dreaming of studying abroad, English is key.
It's crazy because there's this misconception that fluency is just about like surviving basic conversations. But the source makes it clear it's about so much more than that. It's about accessing a world of possibilities. But then the question is, how do we even get there? Like, sure, there are tons of language learning resources out there, but where do you even begin?
Well, the source actually lays out a really practical 4-step approach. And the first step, which might seem obvious, is to master the basics. It's easy to overlook, but it's important. This means getting comfortable with, like, basic greetings, essential phrases, and everyday vocabulary. It's like building a foundation for more complex communication down the road.
So it's like laying the groundwork, making sure you're solid on the essentials before you move on to the more complicated stuff. Makes sense. It's easy to get overwhelmed with all the grammar rules and like verb tenses and all that. Starting with the basics definitely seems way less intimidating. The source also mentions daily practice, and I'm curious, what are some good ways to actually work English into our routines beyond just doing textbook exercises?
That's a great question. One strategy the source suggests is actually pretty simple. It's basically thinking or talking to yourself in English throughout the day. Describe what you're doing, narrate your thoughts, even if it feels a bit strange at first. It's about training your brain to think in English, which is super important for fluency.
Huh? It's like you're becoming your own personal English-speaking narrator. I tried something similar when I was learning Spanish, actually. I started labeling everything in my house with their Spanish names. Sounds kind of silly, but it actually helped me learn the vocabulary. But the source also talks about using modern tools for language learning, right?
Absolutely. We're lucky to have so many incredible resources available nowadays. Things like language learning apps, like Duolingo, the source specifically mentioned that one, or online communities where you can connect with other people who are learning English. And we can't forget about all the amazing content on YouTube. Seriously, you can find everything from grammar lessons to pronunciation tutorials to authentic English language videos on just about any topic you can think of.
It's pretty amazing how easy it is to access language learning resources compared to, like, 10 years ago. Remember those clunky phrase books and language tapes? But I do wonder, with all these tools, is there a risk of becoming too reliant on structured learning? Could that actually hinder, real-world fluency?
But that's a really interesting point and something to definitely be mindful of. While these tools can be a great foundation, they work best when you combine them with actually using the language. Talking with native speakers, immersing yourself in English language media, and really pushing yourself to use it in real-life situations is key. And that leads us to the final step the source emphasizes: patience and persistence.
Right, fluency isn't something that happens overnight. It's a marathon, not a sprint. You're going to hit bumps along the way, you're going to make mistakes, and there will definitely be times when you feel frustrated. But it's important to celebrate the little wins. Recognize how far you've already come, and remember why you started learning English in the first place.
Definitely. I remember when I was learning French, I got so stuck on mastering this thing called the subjunctive mood that I almost gave up entirely. But then I took a step back and focused on all the progress I had made. I reminded myself why I was learning French in the first place. For me, it was about connecting with my family's heritage and being able to explore French literature. That little shift in perspective really helped me overcome that hurdle and reignited my passion for learning.
Those aha moments, those times when things finally click, they make the whole journey so much more rewarding. It's not just about getting to the end goal, it's about all the growth and self-discovery that happens along the way. But let's move on to what I think is the really exciting part, the actual benefits of fluency. I'm especially intrigued by the source's focus on how it can enhance your travel experiences. Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. Just imagine you're strolling through a local market in, say, Morocco, but you're not just a passive observer. You can confidently talk with the vendors, haggle over prices, learn about their products and their stories. It adds a whole new layer to the experience.
It's like you're unlocking a secret level of travel. Instead of just watching everything happen, you're actively participating, which makes the experience so much richer and meaningful.
Exactly. And it goes beyond just the practical side of things, too. Imagine having a deep conversation with someone from a completely different culture, sharing stories, perspectives, experiences. That kind of connection wouldn't even be possible without a shared language.
Those are the kind of experiences that really broaden your horizons. And speaking of connections, the source also highlights the social benefits of fluency, especially when it comes to building friendships and professional relationships across cultures.
It's incredible how much a common language can bring people together. I've met some of my closest friends through our shared love of the English language. We all come from different backgrounds, have different cultural experiences, but being able to communicate in English created this incredible bond between us.
There's a real sense of community and understanding that comes with being able to connect with people from all these different backgrounds.
Yeah.
But beyond just the social aspects, the source also talks about how English fluency can affect your self-confidence.
Oh, absolutely. Imagine being able to express yourself clearly and confidently in any situation, whether you're giving a presentation at work, participating in a debate, or just sharing your thoughts and opinions in a group. Being fluent can give you a sense of empowerment and self-assurance that can really impact other areas of your life.
It's like unlocking a superpower. And it's not just about feeling confident in your communication skills. It's about feeling confident in yourself, in your ability to navigate the world and connect with others on a deeper level.
It's a truly transformative experience. And of course, we can't forget about the career benefits, which are a big motivator for many people who are learning English.
Absolutely, and the source addresses that head on.
Yeah.
It makes it clear that being proficient in English is a huge asset in today's job market. Can you elaborate on that a bit more?
In today's globalized world, businesses operate across borders, and they need employees who can effectively communicate with clients, colleagues, and partners from all over the world. Knowing English can open doors to opportunities that wouldn't be accessible otherwise.
It really is like having a key to the international job market, isn't it?
Exactly. The source even gave some interesting examples like international business negotiations, where clear and precise communication in English is essential for closing deals and building trust.
It really is like having a key to unlock all these possibilities. And the source pointed out that it's not just about, like, traditional business either.
Yeah.
They talked about how crucial English is in scientific collaborations.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing when you think about it. All these researchers from different countries working on these groundbreaking discoveries, they all rely on English as their common language. It's how they share their findings, plan experiments together, really push the boundaries of what we know about the world.
It's almost poetic, isn't it? Like a reminder that no matter how specialized a field is, clear communication is at the heart of it all. But the source went even further and touched on how English plays a role in arts and entertainment too. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, just think about how English language movies, music, and books reach a global audience. Being fluent means you can experience those things without any barriers. You can grasp all the subtle nuances and emotions the creators put into their work. And for artists and performers who want to connect with people worldwide, English fluency can be a real game changer.
That's a really inspiring point. It's not just about enjoying the content. It's about having the ability to create and contribute on a global level. We've discussed the practical benefits, the social connections, the personal growth. But what really stood out to me from the source was how learning English can actually transform the way you see the world.
I completely agree. Learning a new language, especially one as widespread as English, really forces you to step outside your comfort zone, outside your familiar ways of thinking. You encounter different perspectives, different cultural values, and you start to understand the complexities of the world in ways you hadn't even considered before.
It's like you're upgrading your mental software, giving yourself the ability to process information and experiences from all these different angles. It reminds me of that Nelson Mandela quote, "If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his language, that goes to his heart." There's something really powerful about connecting with people on that deeper emotional level. And speaking of connections, the source ends with a really interesting question.
Oh, I'm curious. What is it?
Imagine for a second that language wasn't a barrier. Who in the entire world would you want to have a conversation with? And what would you talk about?
That's a tough one. So many possibilities. I think for me, it would be amazing to talk to an astrophysicist. Someone who's studying distant galaxies, pushing the limits of what we know about the universe.
What a fascinating choice. What would you want to ask them?
Well, I'd be really curious about their research process, the kind of awe they must feel when they're uncovering the secrets of the cosmos. But even more than that, I'd want to know how their work has shaped their perspective on life here on Earth. How do they find meaning in this vast, ever-expanding universe?
I love that. Connecting the cosmic with the deeply personal. It really shows how language can bridge even the most seemingly distant areas of knowledge. What about you? Who would you choose to have a conversation with?
I think I'd choose to talk to a master chef from a culture totally different from my own. Someone who sees food as more than just something you eat, but as a true art form. A way to express their heritage and cultural values. I can definitely see how that would be an incredible experience. To learn about the history behind their dishes, the flavors passed down through generations. It would be a feast for the mind and the senses.
Exactly. And it all comes back to what we've been discussing, how learning English opens up these amazing experiences, these deep connections with people and ideas from all over the world.
It's a great reminder that fluency isn't just about memorizing grammar rules and vocabulary. It's about embracing the incredible diversity of human experience.
That's a great way to put it. And I think that's the perfect segue to our final thoughts for today. So as we wrap up this deep dive into the world of English fluency, what's the one thing you'd want our listeners to walk away with today?
I think the biggest takeaway is this. Becoming fluent in English, it's not just about adding another skill to your resume, it's really about unlocking a whole new way to experience and interact with the world around you. It's about expanding your opportunities, seeing things from different perspectives, and connecting with people or ideas in ways you might never have thought possible.
I love that. It's so much bigger than just the language itself, isn't it? It's about personal growth, understanding different cultures, and becoming, well, a true citizen of the world. And for anyone listening who might be feeling a bit intimidated by the thought of learning a new language, what advice would you give them?
Well, first things first, don't be afraid to just start. It's easy to feel overwhelmed at the beginning, but remember, every journey starts with a single step. Find resources that work for you, whether it's a language learning app, an online community, or even those good old-fashioned books and classes. And don't be scared to make mistakes along the way. It's a totally normal part of the process.
That's so important. Sometimes I think we let the idea of being perfect stop us from even trying. But honestly, making mistakes is how we learn and grow. Any other tips our listeners can use to make learning English more fun and effective?
Finding a language partner or joining a conversation group can be super helpful. Not only does it give you a chance to practice in real-life situations, but it also helps you feel like you're part of a community, all working towards the same goal. And don't underestimate the power of surrounding yourself with English language media. Watch movies, listen to music, read books. Even if you don't understand every single word at first, it all adds up over time.
It's almost like you're creating this constant immersion in the language, letting your brain naturally pick up on the rhythms and patterns. And, I think it's important to remember that fluency isn't like a finish line you cross. It's an ongoing journey. There will be ups and downs, times you feel frustrated, and times you feel like you're making amazing progress. But the key is to celebrate those small wins, to really see how far you've come and keep that sense of curiosity and excitement alive.
Absolutely. And never forget, you're not alone on this journey. There are tons of resources and communities out there all ready to support and encourage you every step of the way.
So to our listener, we say, take that first step. Embrace the challenge, enjoy the process, and who knows, maybe one day you'll find yourself confidently navigating those bustling markets, sharing stories with people from all corners of the globe, or even presenting your ideas on an international stage.
The possibilities really are endless. So keep exploring, keep learning, and never stop expanding your horizons.
And on that inspiring note, we'll wrap up this episode of The Deep Dive. Thanks for joining us on this exploration of the power and impact of English fluency. Until next time, keep those language goals in sight and keep diving deep.
Thank you, Sarah, and thank you, David. Here we are at the end of today's podcast. Finally, to add more value to today's podcast, let me give a summary of today's topic. This podcast episode and accompanying text emphasize the importance of English fluency, exploring its numerous benefits in career advancement, global communication, and personal growth. The text outlines practical steps to achieve fluency, such as consistent practice, utilizing modern learning tools, and maintaining patience. It also highlights the life-changing impact of fluency, including enhanced travel experiences, broadened global connections, increased self-confidence, and improved career prospects. Ultimately, the text presents a compelling argument for the pursuit of English fluency and provides a roadmap for achieving this goal. Dear followers, remember that discipline and repetition are key, and serious learning leads to better results. Finally, remember, if you enjoy our videos, please subscribe, click on the bell for notifications, leave a comment, and follow us. Thanks. I'll leave you with love and sincere respect.
So, see you soon in the next video.